Okay, take a look at my sweet potato. And don't be alarmed by those holes. As you know, I don't use any insecticide, and my husband get to work on picking those bugs only on the weekends, so the bugs will have at least 5 days having fun feasting on the leaves. But I'm not worried about it, because as long as I see that the plants are continuously putting out new leaves, new growth, I'm not very concerned. And I don't know whether it makes sense, but to me, being living things, plants are living things, which I believe that when some kind of threat, they're sensing some kind of threat because bugs are feeding on them. I don't know, it might sound far-fetched, but I believe that plants do have their own defense mechanism, where when they felt some kind of threat, such as bugs feeding on them, they will activate or release or strengthen that defense mechanism. So I'm not a scientific person, but I just believe that somehow. And if you noticed, I actually just planted a whole big clump of sweet potato right there, and you can see that the soil has been disturbed because I planted some. What I noticed is that they're growing. Some actually did not make it, but the growth of the sweet potatoes in this area here, where I use a different brand of organic fertilizer, the growth is not as vigorous as the growth on the side where I use Trifecta Plus right here. As you can see, there's not much space in this area. The growth, it's got really vigorous growth, and if you look carefully, there's a lot of new growth everywhere, and very healthy new growth just coming up everywhere in this area where the Trifecta Plus is. This is what I am noticing right now. I have been observing their growth, and here is another brand, a different brand of organic fertilizer here, and on this side, as you can see, you'll notice that the growth here in this area is not as vigorous as where the Trifecta Plus was added to the soil. And now, look, this is how I know that I have an equal amount of space for each corner. I have 1, 2, 3. There are 6 of the, what do you call this thing here? These poles. Well, anyway, there are 6 of them, and each one are placed with the same equal distances from each other. So since I have 6, that's 1, that's 2, and that's 3. And right here, I planted, that's a jalapeno, and there's jalapeno here, right in the middle, to kind of mark the center of this raised bed. I have 1, 2, and 3. So equal amount of distances from each other, and equal amount of plants. And as a matter of fact, in this area here, I planted more This is the second time I planted this side of the bed because I noticed that they were not catching on growth, and some of them actually did not make it. So that's a new sweet potato I just planted there, as you can see, with that disturbed soil. And it's not as, I would say, it's not growing as well as the Trifecta Plus side. As you can see, the growth is vigorous, and you barely could see an empty space there. Okay? You see that? Nice vigorous growth, Trifecta Plus. And this one, as you can see, look, all those empty space in that area. And it's doing okay in this area, but you can see the difference in growth. This is a volunteer tomato, and you know me, if it volunteer, if I could leave it alone, I will. And I decided that I'll leave this tomato here. I'm hoping this is cherry tomato, but it looks more like Cherokee purple. But I would like it to be cherry tomatoes because I didn't have any cherry tomatoes planted this year. So this is an update of my Trifecta Plus and a different type of organic fertilizer in this raised bed. And it seems so far as the growth, Trifecta, I'm sorry, I can't pronounce it well, Trifecta Plus seems to be doing very well at this point.